Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have me doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking clout. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
Welcome to the Friday Night Lights on the Mafia Sports Report Network. I am fumbling my words because normally I don't host Friday Night Lights. And I was thinking Mikey might do it, and I didn't want to mess you up, Mikey. But Mikey's a little under the weather. But Mikey made it. He's here. And he has a green screen behind him. And look at that. He's just giving you a cough. Just
kind of. I'm trying. Listen, I missed the last Jets one. I'm not missing this one. I was the reason we lost last time. It ain't gonna happen this time.
Yeah, and we haven't. By the way, we haven't had a Friday Night Lights in like 2 weeks, I believe. So it's been a minute, right? 2 or 3 weeks. Yep. And man, come on, man. People miss Friday Night Lights, bro. Like this is it. Let me read. Hold on. You know what? It's gonna kill me, Mikey. It's gonna kill me if I don't do that right. Give me a minute. Hold on. You ready? You ready? Let's do this again. Let's do this again. Here we go. Welcome to Friday Night Lights on the Mafia Sports Report Network. I'm your host, Tommy, and joining me is Mr. Mikey, who normally is the host, but we'll switch it around today. And today, Mikey, we do have a guest, and I'm going to be putting him on now, and his name is Andre, and he is from Academy Sports Show. And guys, just a heads up, everybody, Andre is going to be joining up with Mafia Sports Report and kind of just linking up together. So they're still... they still got their own YouTube, of course, but they're joining up with the fan, man. So welcome, Andre. And Joel, you're going to meet Joel too, man. He's a good guy. And this is coming in January, man. They cover everything. And I guess we'll start with you, Joel. Andre, tell us a little bit about yourself, man, who you represent. I know you're not a Bills fan, but, we feel your pain with who you know.
Well, first of all, man, I appreciate y'all always. Thanks, Tommy, for reaching out to us, man. I feel like this is going to be an awesome partnership between Academy Sports Show and you guys over here. I support Bills Mafia when they're not playing the Lions, of course, So, yeah, man, it's all Michigan over here. We cover, a lot of Michigan sports. Me and Joel went to Michigan, so he has great insight in the Michigan football team, Michigan basketball team. I'm a Lions fan. He's from and born and raised from in Ohio, Shaker Heights, Cleveland, Ohio. So Browns fan versus Lions fan. His team thinks it's getting better. My team always sucks. It's like, bro, you're not leaving me. We both belong in the basement. Just because you paid for this great roster doesn't mean you're going to get better anytime soon. You understand? So we love to go back and forth. We have trivia nights with our listeners. We got great slides, great games, great parlays. But most importantly, man, looking forward to 2023 when we go live that first Thursday in January, and a great partnership with your channel here. And I can't wait to keep, to move forward and see what that's going to bring to the future. So I appreciate you reaching out, and I take your hand and I shake your brother. We're going to do great things. Moving
and
on.
By the way, we both in Michigan. We both Michigan boys, me and Dre. Now, obviously, Andre's been in Michigan a little bit longer than me. I lived off and on in Michigan, so I got love for Detroit team. So I will say this, I am a huge Pistons fan. I'm a huge Detroit Tigers fan. But the city of Detroit, bro, thank God the Lions are doing something. And University of Michigan, of course, Michigan, for finally coming around. Boy, I got to tell you, Andre, I was worried for a little bit about your Michigan squad And because I was like, man, your coach, or is he going to ever get to the promised land? When Harbaugh got there, everybody just had such high hopes, and hey, he did turn the program around, but he had some bumps there, right? Some speed bumps.
Yeah, for sure.
And fans, I know, were getting down on him, and
for sure.
Detroit, you know how Detroit is, and we have bad luck here with sports teams, and it's just like, I'll tell you, the only Detroit team I will say that Michigan too, obviously college, but is the Red Wings. Like, they have many championships. They haven't been good in a while, but that's another team. And I don't really watch hockey, but they are turning it around. I know they got one of their old players now as a GM, so that's good for them. But the Tigers suck. Okay, they finally fired their GM.
Finally.
And the Pistons, I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, they need to fire the coach. Like,
Tommy,
I'm going to be
so
real
what
with
I'm
you.
hearing is it's you.
It's terrible.
If you're a fan of a team, they don't do good. So that's what I'm hearing out of this.
Direct.
Yeah, but I love. Listen, I'm diehard. I have a tattoo on. I love the Pistons.
Yeah.
Like the 04 Pistons. Like I was watching the Pistons when they won in the early 89, 90 back to back. And then they were terrible when they get, Grant Hill and all the coaches came through. But it was fun to see when your team gets good, like Buffalo, for instance. I watched the same thing, and I felt like the Pistons were the same kind of thing, and then they finally started doing good, and we were on top, bro. We were selling out arenas
for sure. It was a moment.
Like, we had we didn't have we had a sellout crowd every night at the Palace, and then once a team broke up, it's like Detroit doesn't know what to do, right? Like,
and then Ron Artest came into town and started fighting.
Yeah,
is that what happened?
Ron Artest came to town and we
won
the championship.
Man.
We actually won. We won that year, which is the funny thing. So
they traded Chauncey for Iverson, and then it was all downhill.
It was a wrap. Once that team got pulled apart, they didn't know what to do, and then they that's what I'm telling you. Like, bad teams, once owners die, and we talk about this all the time, like, it has to be like a connection. So the owner, the GM, the coach, bro, once the owner of the Pistons died, it was a wrap. It was over with, because you got a new owner. They didn't know what to do with the team. He doesn't give a shit. He cares about the money. He doesn't hire a GM for 4 years or something. He had some guy that's helping out. Right. It was so bad, bro. We were hiring everybody. So I don't know. We'll see. But Detroit right now, I will say, it has a bright spot, and that is the Lions are finally, maybe, I don't want to curse them. You never know, but they are looking better.
Hey, you're gonna curse us like that field goal,
right? Right. The field goal, right?
Okay, so let's touch base real quick, because you are a Lions fan.
Hey,
Bill's
Joel,
Mafia
man.
has nothing but respect for the Lions.
We do.
What they did for Buffalo and what they've done for Buffalo in the past. I know Ralph Wilson what had a tie into there, and that's why originally. But they opened up the stadium when we couldn't play in our home. They and your social media team was on fire. The numbers are by the fridge. Make sure you lock up and turn out the lights when you leave. Just don't break any tables. That's one of the best tweets ever. And you guys play tough. I love MCDC. You guys have firepower on offense. Defensively, you guys are coming around. Second half of the year. I see bright things ahead as long as the ownership doesn't get too impatient and can the leadership that's pushing you guys in the right direction.
That's a Ford family, though. That's a big what? It's a big if.
Yeah. That's always been the thing is ownership. First, shout out to my guy Joel in the comments, man. Appreciate
y'all. Joel. By the way,
I sent him the show when we were live.
Yeah, this is the co-host, by the way. Guys, honestly, listen. Anyone who watching right now, go check them out. Go check them out. Academy Sports Show on YouTube. Subscribe and just check them out, because that's what we're going to be bringing here on Thursday nights, probably at 8:00. But we'll give you a confirmation on that when the time comes around. But yeah, check them out, man. Really, really awesome show.
Tell me, we should put the link in the.
Yeah, I will. I will after. Yeah, I got you.
So the Ford family, they are penny pinching. We've seen greats, we've seen legends leave just because they didn't want to get the cash they were owed, or didn't make the proper draft picks. Horrible GM after horrible GM, bad coach after bad coach, bad decision making after bad decision making. So now we're in this era now with Dan Campbell. And I really do like Dan. I feel like Dan may be like a bridge coach, maybe kind of like how Rick Carlisle was to Larry Brown, just to
that's a great
turn the
example.
tide of that momentum, teach these guys a little more toughness, and just he's definitely a player's coach. Defensively, I feel like we have a long way to go. There's this Alabama linebacker. He probably won't be there now because we're winning all these games. So
there's a lot of really good defensive players though in this coming draft. So although Will Anderson would be awesome to grab, there's a bunch of them. There's Andre Carter out of Georgia. We can probably do a laundry list of just the corners alone
for sure,
and safeties that are coming out. So although you guys are winning some games, I hope they continue to go defense, or because you guys do have the Rams first round pick. So hopefully Baker Mayfield doesn't engineer any more 98-yard fourth quarter comebacks to ruin your pick.
That's so
only the Raiders could do that.
I had a feeling watching that game last night when I was.
He's good for one.
Yeah, I just had. Come on, everybody kind of saw it coming. I said it's gonna happen.
That's the most Raider thing ever. That was the most Raider thing ever.
Yep.
So.
And they've been playing actually all right lately. And you're like Baker Mayfield, come on, first game as a quarterback for the Rams, barely knows the playbook. Embarrassing.
That's a perfect Baker Mayfield situation. Hey, just throw in there, just make some plays. Let's win the football game. Now they're gonna put more and more on them, a little more expectation.
Oh yeah,
a little more preparation, and then we're gonna see what Baker's really made of. I think we already kind of know, but this being his second team this year and his third team in his short career, so we'll see how it plays out. But I think we all know how it plays out. But Baker's always good for one.
Yeah, once you game plan for him, it's a lot easier to shut down Baker. No one expected him to play that much going into last night, so you can't game plan for that.
For sure.
Yep. Oh, I got a super chat coming in here.
Hey,
from James Bliss. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man. James, hey guys, keep up the good work. I appreciate you coming on, man. I don't know if I've ever seen you, man, but I appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you, James.
Yeah, man. By the way, guys, no Lamar this weekend. Again, Huntley's going to be playing, so that's going to be interesting for the playoff push. They won last week against, of course, a terrible Denver team. You can't put up any. If Denver puts up any points, Mikey,
let's ride.
Right, they're I mean, bro, honestly, how great of a trade now is that Seattle trade?
Let's ride.
Great for Seattle.
Unbelievable.
Let's ride. And now everybody there hates them.
They're stuck, by the way. They are stuck. Oh, yeah. I don't know what they would do.
You give a guy $250,000, you got to run with it.
Yeah, you got no choice. You got no choice. That whole division's been a wreck. I mean, honestly, that's tough, man. Yeah. So yeah, man. And by the way, Stafford won't need offseason surgery. Just a heads up. So that's, I guess, good news. Even though, boy, Rams, another team that just sold all out for everybody to win a Super Bowl, which is fine if that's what you want to do. But boy, they're in a hole too. They're in a hole. I mean, they have to either pay him out on injury. Maybe I don't know. What do you do here? Like, what do you do if you're the Rams, Andre? It's right now. So you got Mayfield, right? And I know they're not thinking. There's no way they're thinking Mayfield's.
They're not going to the playoffs. Yeah.
Right. But are they also thinking maybe we need to get a quarterback in the draft now? Or are they still holding on hopes that he could be like a Brady-ish and stick around for, another 3 or 4 years?
No, you definitely let Bate go at the end of this year because Sean McVay doesn't seem like a guy that has a backup quarterback to challenge his starting quarterback too much. So Stafford's definitely a guy. He went all in on Stafford. If you go by the mantra, right, F those picks, they essentially got what they wanted. They got the chip, and everything after that is kind of, fair game. So if they go back to the playoffs, you still want to be successful, but at the end of the day, they got what they wanted out of, selling all those draft picks. Now, as a guy who's endured Stafford for year after year after year, the guy's going to get you the stats. You know, it may be, you know, harking back to another a Pistons foreshadowing. It might be a Rasheed Wallace thing where the guy just interjects some lifeblood into a team that was already good and you win a championship. But now can you double down and do it again? And then can you do it again? You know, so they're definitely not competing this year.
I thought the Lions fans were too tough on Stafford, man. I'll be honest with you, man. I am not a fan, obviously, of the Lions. I don't hate the Lions though. Like if I had a second team, it'd be the Lions because I'm here. But like I was like, man, why? Because you know, I work at a bar. You hear it all the time. Like Stafford sucks, man. I'm like, bro, do you guys realize how long you've been waiting for a quarterback? You finally get a quarterback. He's a damn good quarterback. But do you understand it's not always of just you have a whole team here. You have coaching, you have running backs, receivers, defense. Like you have to build a team. This isn't NBA where you just get LeBron and you know you could go to the playoffs with LeBron. It takes a lot, like in football.
Yeah.
And bro, his numbers were good. They're like, oh, that's because of Calvin Johnson. I was like, bro, stop. He has to throw the ball to Calvin Johnson. What are you talking about? So like, you know, like, and I'm like, all right, be careful what you wish for, because what's going to happen is you're going to get rid of this guy, and then you're going to be all looking for a quarterback again, right? Like, oh,
you're going to be stuck with Jared Goff.
Yeah, and you're going to be stuck. It's 100%. And Jared Goff, I got to say, it could have been worse. You could have got like a worse quarterback, but he's a good fill-in. I will say Goff is not a bad fill-in. But you definitely have to get a quarterback. Like he is not a franchise quarterback. He's a nice journeyman backup quarterback that can come in, win you some games if you need it. You know what I mean? But franchise, I know the Lions have to know that. They have to know that. And I would assume this coming off season, they're gonna have to address that, right? I mean, you have to get at least draft one or spend the money. Like we were talking before the show, and there is Lamar Jackson out there, and would they pony up
on Twitter?
Would they pony up and pay?
Yeah, I think
Lamar's gonna get.
You think
franchised.
So? You think?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Oh, absolutely. Like the Rams would be in the same boat as the Lions if they didn't franchise Lamar. What are they going to do? It's not like they have, Tyler Huntley's an okay backup, but you can't have him as your starter.
No.
Who are you going to go get? Baker?
Baker's going to start for every team.
Jimmy G, who can't stay healthy? I mean,
49ers have a problem too, by the way. I think the 49ers have a problem too. They don't know much about Lance. He's already now he's hurt again, like a major injury. Like you don't know how he's going to respond. Like he's still learning. You know what I mean? Like
he had less college snaps than Josh Allen had, and Josh Allen was a project.
Right. And it took listen, it took a little
bit. Josh a few years to figure it out.
Right. And building around.
But at least Josh had some kind of endearing features about him, right? About his game. Big arm, big guy, kind of mobile. Lance doesn't really have any endearing features to his game. Like he was just a project that Shanahan thought that he can plug in and work better than Garoppolo. And if you're a head coach and you can recognize that it's not going to fit, he got to pivot. You got to chalk that up as an L, because he's not going to be an NFL quarterback. I mean, the tape that he has right now is horrible for the games that he's played and started.
But we all know 3 first-round picks, no GM's going to chalk that up as an L, because that's going to be the fastest way to the unemployment line.
True. Very true.
They're going to double down on Lance next year. They might bring in a bridge quarterback, a Andy Dalton, someone like that, or even bring in Baker and let him battle it out. I thought Baker would be a great fit in Shanahan's offense because of the way he plays. It reminds me a lot of that Oklahoma offense that they ran. So I think that would be the best fit. But they're not going to give up on Lance, because then they're going to admit that they wasted 3 first-round picks in 2 seconds. That's fast.
Yeah, no, they're definitely not gonna. No, you're right. They're definitely not gonna give up on them just quite yet. It's like the Rob Johnson effect for Buffalo, right? Like they, you paid big bucks,
and he's
staying in no matter what.
No matter what.
You know what?
The other
Triggs
guys
is right
win
here.
football games, but let's look at your opponent this week. Let's look at the Jets, right? You know, they got this kid, number 2 overall, stinking it up, absolutely stinking it up, no accountability whatsoever. And then you throw in a guy that's scratched and clawed and fought his way and has the respect of his teammates, and he goes out and wins a ball game. So now, as a GM, as a coach, what situation do you put yourself in? You put the number 2 pick back in, or you let this guy who's winning you football games help you win football games.
That is
so I think the 49ers are in the same spot.
I think the Jets are screwed, man. I think the Jets know they made a huge mistake, right, with that pick. And not only that, it's like, it's not even so much that he's playing bad. It's just he has like a bad attitude. You know what I mean? Like, he's not even like, okay, this guy, okay, you know what? He has, we could see it in him. Let's just give this guy another, we know what he has to do, but let's give him a little break here. But he's not. He's being cocky about it. You know what I mean? It's like, I almost feel like it's a Ryan Leaf situation with the Jets, right? Like, I'm ready for this kid I'm ready for him to snap right on a reporter. Like I'm so ready for it. And
he was close when he said no.
Yeah,
like, he was close to snapping on that reporter.
Oh, I'm talking about a Ryan Leaf snap. Like, I can kind of see it, but I'll tell you this: the way the NFL's going, I mean, some teams, like, look at the Cardinals. I mean, they got rid of Rosen pretty quick. And listen, if
they also got rid of that head coach.
Yeah, they did.
But
I believe. Listen, man, if you're a GM, man, and you made a mistake, man. He's under a rookie contract. I know it sucks. You drafted him early, but I would say if I'm the Jets and you kind of see the writing on the wall, get what you can and draft another one.
Get what you can.
Get what you can and get out.
Triggs comes in, Tommy, and says Mahomes, Allen, and Herbert is going to get a lot of GMs and coaches fired. Because if you look at that draft, when you got Lance going 3, you had the Jets quarterback going 2. They went because they were looking for that mobile Mahomes type, Allen type, big arm, mobile guys that play off of platform. And they've missed on both of those guys so far. Now, we haven't seen Lance enough to know that he's going to be a complete bust.
No, I have no idea.
But we've seen enough of
Zach Wilson
to kind of know what he is and what he isn't. I mean,
I was calling it last year. I saw nothing. I saw nothing in his game that was like, because like I said, we go back to the Josh Allen thing. Like, he wasn't good in 2018, but you saw flashes and going, wait a minute, like, okay, like, what, flashes of brilliant, right? And then you saw like, oh, he shouldn't be doing that, or that you could see where, like, he needed a lot. He needed to learn a lot, right? Like, there was a learning curve there, a big learning curve, I thought. But you still saw why they drafted him. They said, okay, he's a good kid, right? He's going to fight for his team. He's willing to learn, right? Like, he's willing to take the next step to get better. Because there's some quarterbacks, like, that's where I feel like Zach Wilson, too. That's another thing. Like, he's so caught up in himself and cocky. Who knows how much he wants to learn or give
that was a knock on him coming out, though. And Triggs is right here. He says, he had leadership issues going back to college.
There you go.
And it was part of his draft profile that all the major networks talked about. When the Jets pegged him at number 2 and everyone realized that he was going to be the number 2 pick, that was a cause for concern, a giant red flag right from the get-go.
Yeah. Well, the Jets they're gonna have to decision make, because listen, like you said, like, if the players are rallying already behind a guy, like, let's be honest, Mike White, like, he played
the number 1 overall pick. He should have been the number 1 overall pick according to himself.
We put him in his place last year, right?
That's what he said.
We got him benched, right? We benched his ass last year. I'm not saying he's a terrible quarterback, but
he's not terrible. He's not terrible.
Right, but there's a big but. Anytime, and I say this all the time, when a quarterback comes in that there's not a lot of film on, they may look good for a couple games, right?
For sure.
But once teams and coordinators, a good coordinator, like a Leslie Frazier, a guy that's been there, like a Bill Belichick, right? He ain't gonna let no fucking 400 yards fly by him. Mike White, he's gonna put him in his place, right? He's gonna show him things he's never seen before. He's gonna see the things he doesn't like on film, what he likes to do, and he's gonna take advantage of that. So we did that last year to Mike White. I think he had like 4 interceptions. We totally we basically got him benched again, right? So
Right. I don't think we're gonna get 4 interceptions again from this.
No. That was that was.
But if you go back and watch last week's game, he had 2 picks and he had 3 to 4 more that could have been picked.
Oh yeah,
he put the ball in harm's way.
He did. Yeah. So, but my point is, with all that being said, for the Jets players to rally around him, and the fans already turning. Yeah, that's a
rough comparison.
That's
He's
rough.
Johnny Manziel with a better arm, but Manziel was loved by his teammates.
He is in that era, right? Like, you know, you look at a guy like you look at Zach Wilson, and you look like a guy like Kyler Murray. Like, these guys are physically talented, but are you willing to put in the work, right? So a guy like Pat Mahomes, he had the same thing. He was a gunslinger. You know, same college kind of thing, deep crossers, great ball, great pro day. You know, I mean, Zach Wilson's pro day film was, you know, look at this guy running to the left, throwing to the right, crosses body, hitting the guy across, you know, full stride. You know, he's a pro day
yards
product.
Downfield on a dot.
Oh yeah, for real. But when you get into the league, are you willing to put in the work to keep going? That's why, hey, Kyler Murray, we're going to put a clause in your contract to help you watch film so you can become a better quarterback.
Yeah.
Hey, Zach Wilson, are you willing to do the things to help you to become a better quarterback? Or are you just going to keep, you know, smelling yourself? So these young quarterbacks nowadays, you know, it takes a lot more work and effort to be successful in the National Football League that they're not willing to put in that work.
Jamarcus Russell is another great comparison. Who he was damn good in college, but he just
and I don't think it's my
not willing to put in the work.
Audio sounds. The Bills Mafia comes in and says, "Mikey."
Oh, I heard about that. Like, Mikey sounded like that's what I heard the other.
It's partly my voice. I am sick. I've just tried to battle through. So because last time we played the Jets, I wasn't here.
He sounds all right to me. You sound all right, but
Mike, you should be applauded. He's working
right.
I'm fighting through it. You know.
Yeah.
As Tommy, what did you say, Tommy?
God.
You said I'm always on the injury list.
He is
questionable. I'm always questionable.
He's always doubtful or questionable, but he makes it, man. Or to be.
I don't practice. I just show up for the games.
Right. Hey, he makes it here, guys. He definitely makes it here. But yeah, man. I mean, that's been going on forever. By the way, the quarterbacks that want to, you know, put in work, be good teammates, take responsibility. You know, even listen. Even quarterbacks that have great games and they lose, they still are like, I could have done better. And you know it's bullshit. You know it as a fan. Like, come on, shut the hell. But they have to say that. They're the leader. They don't want to throw their team. They're not throwing. Listen, that's why they get paid the big bucks. That's why they're quarterbacks are.
And they know it.
Yeah, and they know it.
They've been quarterbacks their whole life.
That's the responsibility. You're the leader.
You take the bump, for sure.
You're the one guy, right? It's nobody else. Like it's you and the coach. Right? It's either your ass is gone or the coach is gone. If the team, that's just the way it works. So
especially when they ask you a point blank question, like, do you think you let your defense down? No, I don't think. I didn't let anybody down,
bro. That's so wild to me. There's been but there's in this history. I swear to God, there's been quarterback like, what's his name? The quarterback for Denver for a little while, Chicago, and then I think Denver. Cutler had like a little bad attitude on him. But he was a good quarterback. Like you could tell he had it all, but he just was a terrible. He didn't give a shit. Yeah, no. Jeff George, if you really want to dial it way back, another quarterback who had a huge arm, good accuracy quarterback, you know, but he just had a bad attitude. Nobody wanted to play for him. So, you know, that, by the way, that goes for coaches too. If you don't want to, if players don't believe in you, and just like the Lions' old coach, right?
Hey, Matt Patricia.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we all know about that, right?
Right. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, it works that way, man. Our leaders have to lead, man. And if that ain't you, then bro, you can't be part of this team, bro. You can't be. So the Jets have a lot. Yeah, the Jets have a lot to think about, man. And for them too, they're winning games. So it's not like they're gonna have like this opportunity for like a quarterback unless you find one and get lucky in a later round, which is possible. You know, Aaron Rodgers came later, and there's quarterbacks. Tom Brady obviously came later, but for the most part, you want to get a first round quarterback. For the most part.
I mean, let's look at Jets. Jets pass, right? I mean, those guys won despite Mark Sanchez, but Sanchez was still a good teammate, though. Sanchez was still a part of that team. He was Rex Ryan's guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, he still big up. He knew his role in that offense
did.
and then on that team. And this kid just thinks he's, God's greatest gift to quarterback. And it's like, bro, you're going to lose the locker room. You have no leadership skills.
Yeah, he's going to learn that quick when he's bouncing around the league, though. Or not. Or he's going to be like Rosen, who's just can't even find a team to play for, and he's going to be
no one want to bring him in. No one wants that. No one wants that drama.
Bad karma.
Yeah. You have to remember the whole reason why they made the switch to Mike White was because the veterans in that room wanted him. They felt like they couldn't win with him. And if he was likable, they could deal with his on-field play as he's trying to grow. But when you don't become likable and your teammates don't trust you and you don't take the blame, after we lost the Jets, Josh Allen sat in front of the podium and said, "I played like shit." Plain and simple.
Right.
He ate it. He sat there and ate it. And you know what? The veterans and the defense love him for it because whether it's his fault or not, he always eats it. He finds a way to deflect the blame back to himself, as any true leader does.
Yeah.
And that's not who he is as a person.
Nope. But it is what it is, man. He's gonna live and learn, or find yourself playing for the Rocks XFL. I mean, I don't know what to say.
Right?
You know what I mean? Like, hey, JP Lossman won himself a championship in the USFL back in the day, or so. Even hey, if you want to go that route, you get some money. Arena League might pop off again.
Someone in here earlier, I don't know who it was. Someone said it's hard to find motivation when your family members own like JetBlue or something like that. I guess he's tied into money. I'm like, I just look over at the Falcons head coach where his dad owns FedEx. There ain't nobody that works harder than a head coach in the NFL. The amount of hours they put in, and that dude's loaded, and he still finds the motivation to do it.
Yeah,
so either you're built with it, you have that internal drive, or you don't. It's one or the other.
Yeah, he just doesn't. You could tell he just doesn't. But hey, maybe he'll change. You never know. People change. People, learn.
They do.
We'll see.
That was a knock on Rosen, right? That was a knock on Rosen during his pro days and his NFL interviews. Like, he was like, I can play or I cannot play.
It
I'm
didn't
gonna be
matter to
good
him.
either way. Yeah.
How much does he love it? How much does he love ball? And that's the biggest thing. You see that coming out every year. Like Jalen Phillips for the Dolphins had like a rap career as well, and he was more into music than he was into football. So he fell from like a top 10 pick to I think he went 15th. Like he had the talent to go top 10, but no one knew exactly how much he truly loved football.
Yeah.
That happened.
Can hurt your draw. Yep.
Yep.
So speaking of this game and the Jets game, Buffalo versus Jets this weekend, big game. They beat us obviously the first time, I believe 20-17. Very sloppy game by the Buffalo Bills. And obviously, if you don't know by now, Von Miller done for the season. We were hoping, in initial reports were, probably missed a few games, and it was nothing to be overly concerned about as far as ACL surgery goes and all that. Yeah. But once they dove deeper and did some kind of, I think they were in there like with I think when the leg started, the swelling went down and they got to go in there with the orthoscope, or what do they call it?
Yeah.
They found the tear, and that's it. That's a wrap.
The good thing was it wasn't a complete tear.
No, it's not. But
it was a partial tear.
Yeah.
It sucks that they shut him down, but
have to.
And it's funny because if you have one half of Bills Mafia who were like at panic, we can't win without Von Miller.
That's not true.
But they forget the team is built. Was built. We were 13 seconds away last year from moving on.
Exactly.
Without him, and we get Tre'Davious White back. Yes, we've lost Micah.
Yeah, we didn't have him last year in that game. Yep.
But the second year of Gregory Rousseau, who's also been better this year. We have Daquan Jones, and we have Shaq Lawson back. We have Phillips back. So we have a deeper D line than we did last year to help offset some of that. So I don't think it ends our Super Bowl hopes. It puts a damper on some of them. It would have been great to have Vaughn for the playoffs, where he tends to be his best. But that doesn't end our Super Bowl dreams.
Yeah. Mikey, work the chat for me for a little bit. But yeah, no doubt. Listen, to Mikey's point, we got to the championship without him the year before. Last year. It wasn't championship, division round, but we should have went to the championship. Anyways, and we improved massively that D-line in the offseason. Big time. And he's still going to be there for his team. He's still going to be coaching them up like he's a coach, which is great. Like, we brung Von Miller not only to do that, but also be a locker room guy to help out with these guys. And he's still going to be part of that. So that it was more to just him, what he's doing on the field. It was a little bit of everything, and he'll still be able to contribute with that. Micah Hyde is still at training camp, not training camp, still in practices, helping out the team. I mean, that's what they do. That's what they, you know, he's helping out DeMar Hamlin with some point. Listen, that's awesome. This is all, that's all we can ask for right now, because obviously he can't play, but I'm not overly concerned. If it was Josh Allen, yeah, totally. I 100% be concerned. I mean, 1000%. But
Allen, Diggs, I might be concerned.
Yeah, exactly. But right now, listen, I think the team's starting to play better. I think the defense is starting to get back into the groove of things. If you look at the last 3 weeks, stopping the run was a concern before that. Like, oh boy, here we go, same old Bills letting the run. No, we're right back on track. Like, teams are not running the ball on us again. We went through that. We go through these little weird, after the bye week, we go through these funks, man. And I think a lot of teams go through funks, man. It's not just us. It's just we're a little bit more tough on our team because we were supposed to be this unbelievable 40 points. Like, guys, it's not realistic. This is a NFL. Injuries happen, which, by the way, we have a shit ton all season long. And we're still 9-3. So it's like, I don't know. You can't really complain about the record and where we're at today, and with all the injuries. And I still feel like we have an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, even without Von Miller. So we'll see, but it starts this weekend against the Jets. And we need to play a lot better than we did the last time we saw him, which I believe we will. Josh has been a lot less turnovers, right, the last few games, right? He's being a little bit more smart with the ball. We're also getting the running game going, which is something we didn't do very well early on in the season. James Cook is starting to play better. That's a good sign. Hines is starting to actually get more snap counts, Mikey. That's a good sign because you want to get Hines involved. So there's a lot going on. Now, I will say what I don't like here for this game. Here's the injury report. Matt Milano somehow made the injury report, even though he played 100% snaps last week. He is questionable. Did not practice all week. Or limited Friday. Sorry, Friday. Which whatever. It's still.
He
not...
actually, I heard on one of the talk shows today that he actually got hurt early in that.
That's what I heard. In second quarter or something like that.
And he played through it. And they don't. Although he is questionable, they don't think he's going to keep him from playing.
All right, well, that's good.
They were managing his reps this week to keep the pressure off of it.
Phillips is out, by the way, when he was running after.
Well, he's the only one running after Matt Jones. He dove and missed and landed on his shoulder.
I wish I could talk to Jordan, because it's like the second time where it's like, Jordan, I love you, but you're 370 pounds, bro. You don't need to be running full sprint.
He did that after the interception, and
he's gonna get to the end zone.
Blew out a hammy.
Right. Listen, this quarterback's like 200 pounds, bro. Relax, bro. You're not gonna get. I know it sucks, bro, but you're freaking huge. Like, calm down. You can see when he was running too. I'm like, oh no. No, Jordan, no. But he's out, obviously. I mean, can you imagine, Mikey? You're that big, you're landing on your. Of course, you're gonna hurt your shoulder. So,
right.
He's out. Reggie Gilliam is out.
He didn't want to get called on in film this week. That's all.
No, that's listen, it's sports, right? Like in his.
And there's a couple of those guys should have been called out on films because they stopped and he didn't.
Damn real, especially the Matt Milano where he pulled his hammy, that he in his head he's probably like, I can catch him. Yeah, I can go to the end zone with these guys. Like, I'm like, dude, no, you can't.
He wanted
like,
to get in on the after party.
That's all. Yeah, 100%. There was no, bro. He was so miles behind the play. Like, what are you doing? But anyway, it's like, listen, I would tell Phillips, bro, relax, chill out, just get yourself healthy and stop doing that shit. You don't need to be running like that.
Reggie Gilliam's the sneaky one that I think is going to hurt. Because we've been going into a lot of 12 personnel lately and running the ball, and we've been running the ball with success the last few games. That one is a sneaky, bad, injury.
I like the Dion full practice.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thank God. Something's going right. Obviously, Josh
was
Allen
full too, which is a good sign.
Which I'm shocked, by the way. Good for him. Tough son of a bitch. Mitch Morse. Who else is here? Diggs was probably vet day, I'm guessing. Vet rest. All right, so he's never hurt, man. Knock on wood.
He was hurt 2 years ago in the playoffs, and it showed when we played. Kansas City in that final one.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean here. He's very rarely, but I don't see. Let's see who. I mean, for the most part, I gotta say we're kind of healthy going in that game.
Yeah, I disagree with this comment. Gilliam's useless on offense. He's not.
No,
Gilliam actually makes our offense run, especially in the run game. If you go back and look at the film over the last 3 weeks, and even back into the earlier film, he does a great job of chip and then go out into passes where Josh hit him early in the quick game. He's also been a big key in our blocking that's sprung a lot of the big runs recently,
100%.
last few games. So in the middle of the season, we stopped using Gilliam, and you saw us take a dip. I think he's a bigger key to our offense than anybody is actually realizing. He just doesn't have gaudy stats, and he does the dirty work, as most fullbacks do.
Yeah, listen, I don't know why NFL teams don't use fullbacks more. Like, I wish that he'd be on the field way more than he is, to be honest with you, because clearly, listen, we have an offensive line problem, right? We all know that. And if you have a fullback there that can help out, lead block, why not? And he's done a good job when given the opportunity. So yeah, that kind of hurts. It's like me and Mikey always said it, like, why don't they have Gilliam out there leading a block? Like, we have small. Listen, I love Devin Singletary, and he is strong. He'll make the first guy miss, but he is small. Like, he's not that. So that kind of guy would. James Cook, same thing. You need a lot lead blocker. All they need is that one block. The frame, especially James Cook.
And our James Cook, boom, don't block worth a crap.
No,
and Tommy Sweeney's not the best blocker. I'd much rather see Gilliam in the game than a Sweeney
100%
or someone like that. Ben comes in and asks, is John Brown on the practice squad or the active roster? He's on the practice squad.
They put him back?
He's always been on the practice squad. They called him up last game.
Oh, they called him up. Oh, he's still on the practice. Okay.
And they didn't. They were gonna call him up, or they were gonna bring him up or add him to the practice squad or the roster this game, but due to the injury of Jordan Phillips, they had to sign CJ Brewer.
Yeah,
so he's to the active roster. Brown's still on the practice squad, so they can bring him up one more time before they have to sign him to the active.
Yeah. I think listen, at this point, by the way, I guess we'll talk about it real quick before we continue the game. OBJ was supposed to be announced this week. He's still dragging along. I don't know.
OBJ said he's gonna take some time. He didn't like getting the offers, basically. Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, because
he wants somebody to get desperate.
Yeah, the whole decision after Thanksgiving did not happen.
Well, if you did OBJ was on the shop last night. Did you hear about that?
I heard bits and pieces.
So there's a little talk about that, and then basically
he's saying about the regular season.
Yeah, he says he's not. He wants to sign because he wants to get in with the playbook, but he's not looking to sign. But it comes down to money. Just like you always thought, Tommy, it's going to come down to money. And if we didn't offer him something that he thought he wanted to sign right then he's not. It doesn't sound like anybody did offered him what he was looking for.
Yeah. And I don't think it's. Listen, if you're a team signing OBJ, I think especially I'm pretty sure they know that it's not for a fucking regular season. I don't need him I need him for the playoff push. You know what I mean? Yeah. I need him for round one or whatever after the bye. If we make the bye, fine. I know realistically he is not. Me and Mikey, we talked about this. If you're going to sign him, sign him and just get it over so he can get the playbook down. Now I'm good with that. But I who the hell expected him to play fucking next week? Like,
yeah,
like I didn't. Like,
I don't think
mind.
he got the offer that he was looking for.
No, maybe not. But
and Brandon
you know
Beane's not the type.
Yeah.
You know Brandon Beane. He's gonna have a value for a player, and he's not gonna go off of that. So,
no, I agree. Listen, at this point, if he's smart, I'll be honest with you. If he's not getting the offer that he thinks he deserves, then just wait. Like, fuck it. Just wait to the.
I agree with Tricks here. I think he's a Giant. I think the Giants are going to give him. If he wants
the money, if he doesn't care about winning, because the Giants aren't going to the playoffs.
That'd be a bad decision.
They're not Super Bowl
unless he sees a future unless he's signing for next season with them.
Long term.
Yeah, long term.
Who's their quarterback?
Exactly. That's where I agree. Like listen, Mikey, unless they are saying, hey, we're gonna get a quarter, which I doubt they're gonna tell him that, but unless he feels like they're gonna get a quarterback for him, another one. Other than that, you're right. It would be about money because Daniel Jones is not the answer there. He is not. He's definitely not going to be the answer in New York. So I don't. You know what? I don't think he lands in New York. I don't. I think.
I'm not sure.
I've heard. No, I have a feeling you might be right on that, Mikey. You might be right on that because I think right now teams they want to see him work out or whatever. They want to see something. And I don't know if he's willing to do it yet because he can't. And I don't think teams are ready to roll the dice for the money, especially who knows what he's asking. If he was asking something like a veteran or, veteran minimum or something that's reasonable, I think a team would. He's not going to answer.
He's not going to answer.
Exactly. So I don't know if a team's willing to roll the dice if they don't know if he's even going to be in the playoffs. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
They don't grow on trees, Chewy. Unfortunately, offensive linemen don't grow on trees. Everybody wants another offensive lineman. There isn't one out there. That's the
most underrated position. That's the most needed, by the way. And there's just not a lot of good ones out there.
Like teams don't have 5 good ones, let alone have one that's sitting out on the market that's ready to sign. Like you have the Dolphins just signed Eric Fisher, taking a flyer on him, hoping he has something left.
Yep, the old Chiefs lineman, right? The first round pick. I think he was at one point.
He played for the Colts last year and did not look good.
No,
but praying he has something left. There is no lineman out there to sign. Sign me up too. Give me another lineman. That'd be great. But there's none that's out there you can get.
Right. We got Bobby Hart for a reason, bro.
It's not because we think he's wonderful.
Right. They're just old line, man. They're so tough too. Even in the draft, man, you never know, bro.
I agree.
You just never know what you're getting, huh?
Trick says I think he knows this is his last big contract, especially coming off knee injuries.
He has to.
So he's not willing to sacrifice. Like, what if he says, "Okay, I'm going to come back and play for this team, and it's going to be for peanuts," and then something happens, he gets hurt, or he doesn't look the same, then he's screwed.
That's his contract line.
Yeah, it's not a smart
play
from him.
Veteran minimums for the rest of his career.
You might be right. If I was a betting man, I probably say, Mikey, he's probably not going to sign this season.
I'm starting to think that way. When Dallas came out and was talking about it, and Jerry Jones said, I don't think he's going to play this year. That kind of tells you everything you need to know. And then
I am shocked
that this week.
I'm shocked that Dallas kind of threw. Jerry Jones kind of did him like that.
Did him wrong.
He kind of did him dirty.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he really threw the book down there. And then that it's almost, though, I gotta say, though, I was kind of thinking it's kind of like
yes,
it's kind of like the draft,
Yeah, the damn Bills, that damn Bills guy comes in and says OBJ isn't getting a big long-term contract. No, he could get a 3-year, $30 million deal easily. You have to remember, OBJ was going to be the Super Bowl MVP in that game if he didn't tear his ACL. OBJ rebounded his career going to LA. He walked into LA and became that guy again. Next to Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
Next to Cooper
exactly.
Kupp.
He wasn't supposed to be the guy there. He was supposed to be a piece,
And he was a huge piece, and he was on his way to being a Super Bowl MVP until he got hurt. So,
which is why he wants more time and more money.
Exactly.
He's
not a dumb businessman, that's for sure.
No. 100%. He does so many infomercial things on his Twitter. I'm like, damn, how many commercials this guy does, man?
I'm with you on this. Me and Tommy have been beating this drum all year long. We invested heavily in our D-line, and we neglected our O-line.
I don't
You
get
know,
it.
our big off-season one was Saffold. And although I like Saffold, he's at the tail end of his career, and he's not what he once was. He's a great run-blocking offensive lineman. He's never been a great passing blocking offensive lineman. And what do the Bills do the most of? Pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I didn't understand that one.
It's been like that, though, Tricks. It's been like that since Bean and McDermott took over. They have never really, truly. Now, they did get Dawkins. I think in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, they drafted Dawkins, right? Or is that 2018? I think it's 17, right? He was with the Trey White draft, correct?
Yep. Yeah,
okay.
Second round pick.
So they at least invested that. They tried with Cody Ford.
They grabbed a White Teller and then traded him away.
Right, but Teller was late. I don't know if they thought Teller would be what he was.
He was a 5th round pick. Yeah,
right.
Teller was a 5th.
Now they invested Cody Ford. They traded up for Cody Ford. I believe he was a third round or second round. Oh, yikes! So they tried.
But then they took
not enough.
Brown in the 3rd. They took Tommy Doyle in the 4th. So they have invested some. And Chewy's question here: what's the deal with TD Jesus? He's on IR. That's why you haven't heard about him. We let go, Isaiah Hodgins to bring him back. That next game, he got hurt again, went on IR, and Isaiah Hodgins now in New York.
Story of the Buffalo Bills, brother. If you ask me about a guy, I'm just going to say IR.
Who scored a touchdown last week? Isaiah.
Oh, you want to know about this guy? He's on the IR. I don't know.
He's on the IR.
Check the IR. Yeah, I don't know where he's been IR.
Yeah, Triggs is right. This is the problem of having a quarterback like Josh Allen who makes below average offensive linemen look really good, because he had the most pressures last year with the least amount of sacks last year because he was able to get out of it. He makes our offensive line look better than they are.
Yeah, but that can only hold on for so long. Like I did, if you look at this season, like the defenses are starting to actually catch up to Josh. They're like, he's getting sacked a little bit more times than he was last season. So that what they're doing won't work for too long. Like, you eventually have to protect him. You cannot just keep letting Josh run for his life.
No, it's going to be an Andrew Luck situation all over again. Andrew Luck ended up retiring because he got beat up so much.
Too many years.
If you're going to invest in your quarterback, you have to invest in the guys to protect him.
100%. They actually talked about him the other day, Andrew Luck. They did some big story about him or something.
And he talked about it. He said at the end of the day, he got sick of, constantly being, hurt and rehabbing. And he wondered, was he weak because he gave up? But it was also a big relief to him because he didn't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
And he seems like a happy guy now.
Well, and he said something about, like, it's like he knew that he had to be dedicated you know how that is. Like, you pretty much can't have no time to your family, right? You have to be like, if you're truly all in. And look at Tom Brady. I mean, I'm just gonna throw that out there. Like, he clearly didn't give a. I'm not saying he don't give a shit.
Retirement.
But like, he's going to. He has, like.
I mean, but even when he's going through a divorce, you saw how that took a toll on his play when he's going through that divorce.
100%.
He does not look like the Tom Brady that we've seen. Even the last few weeks, he doesn't look like the same guy.
Yeah. But hey, there's certain players that retire. Barry Sanders retired early without being, like, he wasn't injury. Like, it wasn't like he was like, oh man, I'm really all these injuries. I gotta, like, he just was done. He's done with Detroit. Didn't want to go anywhere else. Didn't want to sign anywhere else. Same with Megatron. Megatron's like, you know what? I'm done. I'm good. I don't want to go anywhere else. Yeah.
He's gonna keep doing that to me, huh? He's just gonna keep.
Yeah, you're gonna keep poking that bear.
He's just gonna keep doing that. He's gonna keep doubling back, tripling back to that. All right,
Chewy's asking for it, Tommy. Let's get to it.
See how it is. All right, I got
Let's get to it, Tom.
Hey, Barry's by the way, one of my favorite running backs. By the way, I think my opinion, Barry is the best of all time. I don't care.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think
he changed the game. Him and Thurman. Can you imagine having him and Thurman Thomas on the same college team? God, that's just
ridiculous.
Nasty.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah.
All right. Chewy comes in and says 3 keys to the game. Okay, my 3 keys. Red zone. Gotta score touchdowns. No turnovers. Those are the 2 that are always there. And instead of saying stop the run, which I think that's always a key, the short pass game. The Jets have a really, really good defense, and they have great corners. And that secondary is nasty. That offensive line or that defensive line is nasty, and our offensive line's been beat up. Get back to that quick game, the stuff that we did early in the season. Get the ball out of Josh's hands so they can't get to him. Get him in a rhythm, and then that will open up the run and it'll open up the deep pass. So I will say quick game to start, red zone offense, no turnovers. 3 keys to the game.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Actually, I mean, we all know the red zone has been our weak spot, right? It's been our the problems we really had for a couple seasons, to be honest with you. So that's something that we need to get fixed, and it starts this weekend. Clear, it starts every weekend, but got to play clean in the red zone. And when I say clean, that means no stupid ass interceptions or fumbles, right? The one against the Jets, which was the last time we played them, it was a good defensive play, but Josh knows better. Josh should have saw that. He didn't. And then not only that,
he threw him right too. Soft.
Yeah, threw it right. Not only that, when the defense gets the ball back on a turnover, let's not give them the ball right back on.
Right. No turnovers. No turnovers.
Right. I mean, so yeah. And also, I'm going to say this: penalties, stupid penalties. Dawkins, I'm glad you're back, but you're the leader of these. Stop with the penalties. They're
killing the drive. We'll get over the 50, be driving in, and then a holding call. Just a dump away from the play holding call.
Right. 50-yard pass to Stephon Diggs, holding by Tommy Sweeney. Stop it. Like
50-yard touchdown. 50-yard touchdown pass.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So Andre, as a non-Bills fan, I would love to hear your take on the keys to the game between the Jets and the Bills. What do you think it's going to take for the Bills to get the W here?
Well, the first thing you always got to look at is the marquee matchup, right? It's Sauce and Diggs. It doesn't seem like Josh is scared of Sauce. He's giving Diggs the ball no matter what, depending on that last matchup. So you want to see, if he continues that trend of just trusting his guy versus their number one draft pick over there in Sauce. So that's going to be a number one matchup there. And then also, can your defensive line get pressure? So you gotta trust your defense on this one. Your offense, I understand you guys got red zone issues and things like that, but your defense got to be able to take this team that is obviously beneath you and keep them beneath you. Keep the big keep the big plays down, cut down the short passing game, like you said, because these guys are going to dink and dunk you all the way down the field, and have your defense control the lesser team. So you guys have the better quarterback, you have the better running back, you have the better receivers, you got the better offense, you got the better coach. Everything is in your favor. Be the better team and dominate the game like you're supposed to, and let your defense have their way with these guys. So, and then keep Quentin Williams away from your quarterback.
Yeah, that's the big key. Keep Quentin Williams away. And it's not just Quentin Williams; it's that whole D line because it was I think it was Huff is the one who got to Allen that hurt his arm at the end of the game. It was just like it was one of the rotational guys that come in that rush the passer. That offensive line is the key ultimately. The funny thing is you said something in your thing. You said Sauce versus Diggs. In that first matchup, Sauce is only on Diggs 3 times because Sauce doesn't travel.
Oh, he's a Sherman.
Actually
he doesn't travel.
And on that first drive, actually, I think it was the first play, Diggs totally wrecked him. He did like
put him in a blender.
He I think it was like a stop and go almost, or he like juked him or something. Like he was totally full. Like nice. Sauce was way behind him, and So Sauce is damn good, but the interception that he had against Josh was nothing. Like
it was
Levi Wallace could have.
He's not going to get an easier interception than that.
Yeah,
no,
like he threw it right to him.
Right on the trophy.
Right to him. So I agree. Listen, and also I do want to, one more thing, keys. I want to see the running game continue to evolve the way it is. Like I'm really hoping they don't just because this is Buffalo Bills, they will do it for a couple games, and then all of a sudden it's just like, all right, Singletary 6 carries. You know what I mean? Like
you think we would learn after last year, because we didn't run the ball worth of crap early, then we ran it late, and that's what jump started our offense.
Yep.
You think they would have learned off of last year? Keep that ball going in the second, late in the game, get it going, because then you have to bring those safeties up. If they stay in that too high shell, fine, run the ball. If they bring those safeties down, then throw the ball. But if they're gonna invite you to run. Now, don't get me wrong, the Jets have a great D line and they have good run stopping D line. But if you got 6 on 5 or 4, you should win that battle.
Oh yeah, 100%.
If they play that too high shell.
100%.
As an outsider too, like one thing that we always talk about in predictions and stuff for the season and moving forward, just looking at the Bills on the outside, we always say, like, why don't these guys get a running back? Like, you're one running back away from just being dominant. Singletary is cool. I loved when you draft Cook, but then he had his fumbling issues, in the beginning of the season. Like, why not go in for Christian McCaffrey when he was when he was available? Why not try to get, a Kareem Hunt or somebody during a trading deadline to kind of take your running game to the next level?
We don't run him.
If I'm the Bill, so here's why, Andre. I will say this: Devin Singletary is honestly underrated, and everyone knows me. Knows I'm a Singletary guy. Listen, his average.
He just comes from there.
Yeah, and I'm a Hurricane.
let's call it what it is. Tommy.
But listen,
comes out of that state. Tommy,
but he was a damn
bias, man.
He was a very good college running back. He put up big monster stats, and he's been. Listen, he's averaged like 4.6. You can't knock that, and he's like 210. He's not like a little tiny skinny back. But here's the problem: if you don't have an offensive line that can run block, I don't care who you got back there, unless you got somebody that can really bulldoze, like a Derrick Henry. And how many Derrick Henry, right? How many are out there, right? Like honestly, like there's a few. Derrick Henry won. There's just really.
Yeah, there's only one Derrick Henry, but there's a few elite
now there's
backs.
Right. Now there's tougher backs like, Kareem Hunt. Like Kareem Hunt would have been interesting for me. I did say that. I mentioned that to Mikey. Like, if there was one guy, I would have liked him because especially like in the red zone area, he's a bigger back. He's a more powerful back.
Jacobs and Hunt were the two that you really
Jacobs for sure. You see what's going on with Jacobs. But Hunt would have been ideal because maybe you get him in here and then you get a decent contract, nothing crazy, because he's on his last year. Maybe you sign him for a couple of years, he stays. But right now, listen, there's a lot of good running backs coming out of college. Like I'm sure they have to because Singletary's gone. I don't think they're going to re-sign him unless for some reason he comes back with a really great team-friendly deal. I think it's going to be James Cook, and I have a feeling they're going to draft like a bigger back to help out with Cook.
Hey, we might switch running backs. Jamal Williams might come to y'all because he having a monster year. And I don't think the Lions are going to pay him. They're all in.
I would take him for sure. Red zone work. He's a tough.
He's going to want to get paid. Buffalo's not.
We're not. We don't have that money. We got somebody. I think we're going to go through the draft. We're going to go through the draft for a bigger back. Yep. Who wasn't bad for us years back? I don't remember him, but of course he had like a little problems. But Carlos Williams was JD's backup, so he's a bigger back, but he wasn't super fast, but he had good speed. But he was more of a bulldozer A to B, right?
We always had those because Fred Jackson was the same way. He was that bigger back that could get you those short yards.
Yeah,
that's what we drafted Zach Moss to be, and he just wasn't that back.
100%. Turn out.
Yeah, but he wasn't at big like Carlos was 6'1". I'm talking about a bigger back in general. Like Zach Moss was what 5'8"
like that very often.
No, I don't know. But they're gonna have. But listen, if I'm the Buffalo Bills, though, in the draft coming up, it's offensive line first round, in my opinion. And you can find a running back in the third round. You can.
You take offensive line if values.
Look at Breece Hall. I don't know what round he went in, but we could have second, late
or
second.
Or you can pull the Bengals and just
and
just buy every offensive lineman in free agency and be the Bengals.
Yeah, but you see how well that's worked. He's still one of the quarterbacks.
Not very good.
Still get killed.
Not very good. Yeah, you got to draft.
Tommy Chewy wants to do score predictions just so he's around.
All right. Yeah. All right.
Score predictions. You want to start?
You go first, Mikey.
Okay.
I got to think.
I think because of the defense, I think it's gonna be a lower scoring game. I think it's gonna be 24-13 Bills.
Yeah, I don't trust the Jets offense, so I definitely like the low scoring on the Jets.
I think the Jets defense is legit. I really do. And although I know the Bills could drop a 40 burger on them, I'm not gonna guarantee that's gonna happen, especially knowing Josh is still dealing with the elbow injury. He talked about it just recently. He talked on Pat McAfee show. He talked about how he's gonna have to deal with that going, for the foreseeable future. I'm gonna say, 24-13 Bills.
So I think you're about right. So the Vikings got 27 on them last week, right? And they're a good offense. I'm gonna go. Man, it's tough, Mikey. I'm gonna go with the Minnesota score. I like that, except for the 22. I'm gonna go 27-10. 27-10. I don't believe in my. I'm not saying he's terrible, but I just listen. The way we played him last year, I believe Leslie Frazier will do enough different looks to confuse Mike White. It's not even so much about getting to him. I think it's more about just confusing him, setting different looks with him. Mike White, just like you said last week, there was a couple plays that he should have turnovers, right? Interceptions. They just didn't get to him. And Leslie Frazier is going to design something. And Trey White is another week back from injury. Guys are stepping up now in that backfield. DeMar Hamlin's playing a little bit better. By the way, he should not have been kicked out last week.
No.
Jordan Poyer is, his elbow's starting to get better. So our backfield, our DBs, our safeties are starting to actually play a lot better than they have been. So yeah, I think the Mike White experience will probably stay for the rest of the season, probably because Zach Wilson's not the answer there. But against us, I don't see him putting up 400 yards like he did against the Vikings. I could see like a 2-something with maybe a turnover, something like that. But yeah, that's where I'm at, man.
Yeah.
Same. What you got, Andre?
Okay. Before Andre goes, let's hit this. Bills Mafia comes in and says at some point Miller will be a cut with the injury settlement because the cap space you can't. He has such a large guaranteed money. He will not be cut.
No, they're not cutting him.
They can't cut him due to the amount of guaranteed money that's there.
Yeah, they won it anyways. But I'm just saying, like, unless he retired, which he's not.
No, he already said he's back for next year.
Yeah, that's not happening just because of the money. It's a guarantee, and they're not going to eat that. And two, they like him. They like what he brings. And I told you from the beginning, it's not so much even what he brings on the field. It's everything, like everything. So like he's going to still be in the locker room, still going to be helping these players out. He's going to be motivating these guys, going to be helping them in practice. So he's still going to bring something to the team even while he's rehabbing. So he'll be back next year. And, I don't think he'll be back right away. It's probably going to be like a Trey White thing, right? You're probably going to see him like week 8, maybe a little earlier. But every player is different. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea.
He also didn't have a complete tear, which also limits, doesn't put as much time.
Unless there's a setback. Yeah. Unless there's some setback. So maybe you don't see him as late as Trey, but either way, he's not week 1. I mean, you're going to see him like, week 4, week 6, somewhere around there maybe. But who knows? Probably. Either way, he'll be back. So
yeah. Just so Bills Mafia knows, usually when you see the cut with an injury settlement, it's usually on a guy who has a 1-year deal, not a multiple-year deal, and that's because they can do that for cap reasons. And then the guy's usually not going to be out the whole year. So with them doing the injury settlement, it allows them to release him and then have a possibility of bringing him back and re-signing him later. If they didn't do the injury settlement, they put him on the IR and then released him, they couldn't bring him back. After I think it's like week 8 or something like that.
We did that with somebody else too, and they came back. I forget who it was. We did that with.
But you won't see the cut with injury settlement unless with more than a 1-year deal guy, because you can't do that due to the contract and the guaranteed money. So
exactly.
Nice.
All right, Dre,
Andre.
what you got?
Well, just to double down on that Von Miller, I wouldn't cut him either. This guy's a huge locker room leader. Just being a first year guy in, and he's a guy that can attract veterans to your franchise. That are good veterans that will want to play with him and for him and stuff like that. So definitely, that's not a guy you want to cut or disrespect. Who's giving so much to the game, and even if he does come back late next year, let's say you guys win the Super Bowl this year, that's a great guy to add in the middle of the season towards another Super Bowl
right?
push.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like you definitely want to you want to keep a guy like that on the roster. Score wise though, I do think I think you guys should pretty much handle this game. So I'm going to like 27-13, something kind of like that. I don't see like a more than a touchdown out of the Jets out of the situation. But I definitely see once you get up, not having Allen throw as much, kind of control the pace of the game, just get up and get out. You know what I'm saying? Like
Like we did
let's
with
win
the
this
Patriots
thing.
last week.
Yeah, let's get in this thing and
Exactly.
let's get out. Let's get out injury free. Let's get out scot free. Let's put it on them and let's get up out of here because we're definitely head and shoulders better than this team.
That's a great point, by the way, that
yeah.
you made. Like controlling the clock, right? Winning time of possession, running the like that's what we did against Patriots. Like run the ball towards late of the game, right? Let's limit Allen's throws. If we're especially if we're up, we don't need that. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know what I mean. I'm not saying take the your foot off the pedal, but by that time, third quarter, fourth quarter, I know the Jets D line's good, but their defense at that point, they're wearing down a little bit. That's how games go. That's why running the ball is so important late in games. Defenses wear out, and that's something we continue not to do. So we've been doing it better, but I want to see that trend keep going for as far as running in the second half and keep going, break that defense down, man. And then you could do a play action, then surprise them with something like that. But yeah, I definitely agree with that, man. Let's just get a win.
Mm-hmm.
Get everybody out of there.
It's not about
healthy.
style points. It's not about style points in the NFL.
I'm totally good with an ugly game.
Who cares what the talking heads say? Where they put us in the power rankings. At the end of the day, get that W and move on.
Yeah, 100%. And guys, we got not lucky, but we kind of did that. Everything worked out last weekend, and we're back in first. When everyone was, by the way, a lot of people were like, Bills are not going to get back in first. Jesus. And now we're back in first. So now we control our own destiny.
Last year. Do you remember when Patriots had that 1 week division lead on us? And everyone talked about how the Bills' reign was over and they're back to the same old Bills. They did the same thing this time.
Yeah.
With the Dolphins in lead and the Chiefs the number 1 seed. And, the Bills' reign was over and they were the preseason champs. And now look at them. They're in the 5th place. And
yeah,
listen, it will change again by the end of the year. There's a lot of weeks left in this NFL season. It's a week-to-week league. It's the reason why McDermott tells the team it's one game at a time. You have to go 1-0 each week. At the end of the season, we'll add up all the wins and see what we got. Don't look ahead because you'll get stomped on. We've seen bad teams. We watched the Raiders last night just melt down at the end. They were on the borderline of getting back into playoff contention against a team that had a quarterback that was on the roster for 2 days. It happened.
So the Rams, who've been playing so bad, just got a quarterback in the.
The turf. I'm with that turf thing too. I think they need to get rid of the turf and go back to grass fields.
And we got it, by the way. We have turf.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
I know.
With an open, we don't have a dome. There's no excuse. I don't understand.
Yeah. They need to get rid of these turfs and go back. I understand why they went to turfs.
Yeah.
Due to the costs and those type of things and the elements and well, it's the elements. If you're on turf and it's raining, it's a lot easier to run and cut. If if it's raining, then you have like Chicago. They have that mud bowl.
Yeah,
although I enjoy the mud bowls because that brings me back to my old days, but
I do wonder though, the new stadium, because I don't know if they announced it or they said it.
They haven't said if it's gonna be turf or
right. And I was looking, I was Googling it because I was curious if it. I hope not, Mikey.
They haven't talked about it. They showed
No.
some renderings of it, of what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
But they haven't got into any of the specific details yet. I hope they go grass.
Yeah, I do too, man. I do. But like you said, man, it's about money, and the owners aren't gonna listen. And not only that, you know how the NFL does. Like, we have studies that show it's the same. So it's like they're not gonna, they're gonna.
The players are starting to talk about, though. It'll be part of those
NFLPA, the meaning. Yeah,
No,
it might be. It might be, especially players like Vaughn. Like, Vaughn's been saying it. Guys like
Vaughn
that.
did say his injury wasn't turf caused.
No, he
the
said
guy
it was
fell
just
into
bad
him
luck.
weird.
Yeah,
it was just bad luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that will happen.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Anything else, guys, that you want to touch base on? Or we pretty much did it all tonight?
Nothing from that standpoint. Tomorrow morning we have, or tomorrow afternoon we have Fantasy Kingdom. 2:00.
Yep. AFC East Shakedown at 6. It will be on Mafia Sports Report, and then obviously you guys know we're going live for the post game directly right after 15. We usually go 15 minutes after the game ends. So join me and Mikey, and then obviously Andre. You guys listen, Andre and Joel is going to be new to Mafia Sports Report coming up. They've been doing this a while, by the way, so it's not like they're new to the game. Andre and Joel have been doing podcasts and radio, like internet radio. So fun guys, fun show. They're just linking up with Mafia Sports Report. That's going to be in January. I'll drop a trailer for that soon, probably in a couple weeks or so. So look out for that. And other than that, guys,
check out their old stuff. I went back and watched
you got to. It's
Andre
so good, bro.
And Joel stuff. Like they have this cool little trivia thing. I love the trivia thing. That was
batting
cool.
stance thing.
Yeah, and they play the chat versus them. And
Either way, mine's Sheffield. As far as batting stance. Yeah.
Say that again.
Like one of my favorite batting stance was Sheffield. I know you guys are doing the batting stance.
I loved Griffey's because
I like the pool hole.
Griffey's is badass too.
Griffey's is badass. My favorite of all time, Will Clark.
Will Clark.
I
like Sheffield. I just like the way he moved the bat.
I don't understand how he hit the ball. He had that bat so far forward.
Yeah,
and he got such strong wrist. I don't know how he hit the ball.
You know who did a weird stance like that too? Was Mickey Tettleton for the Tigers. Used to hold the bat like
Craig Counsell, straight back.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. I forgot about that.
All the way down.
Craig Counsell.
Yeah, that's wild.
Counsell.
Yes. Cecil Fielder had a decent one too.
He'd be like way up here and still smash the ball. I mean, there's some wild batting stances out there.
Bagwell got really low.
Was so just naturally smooth and sweet. I don't think that would have worked as a right-hander, but as a lefty, it was such a sweet swing.
No, it was. Yeah, we got it. You guys got to do like shooters too, like free throw. Shaq with the
Shaq, my favorite.
Ben Wallace was there was some funny ones.
Ben Wallace.
All right, guys.
I love our format has worked for a while. I appreciate the love you guys that you show and the support. Now we both look forward to the partnership moving forward. So expect I'll be on more, hopefully.
Yeah.
And you guys,
hopefully we'll be able to do some cross promotions too, where we jump on over there and do some of those fun ones, because it's more than just football over there. Their podcast is a little bit of everything, and I love sports as a whole. The Bills are my passion, but I love sports as a whole. So I'd love to come over and chop it up with you guys. Check my trivia knowledge as well.
Most definitely.
All right, dudes. Everyone for hopping in tonight. Steve Lynn, Daniel Triggs, all y'all, man. We appreciate you guys.
Ben, Daniel Garies.
Yeah. So as always, we are out of here. Bills Mafia #1. Go Bills. Peace out. Peace.
Go Bills.